do it. Get my mind off all the fucking. Okay, did it record that? I get my mind off all the fucking anti-whiteism I was hearing. Now, here's how it went. Don't worry, you'll be able to see me next time I get under a fucking light. But, now, I'm relatively okay, man. I mean, I was, living in such an anti-white place. They really, God, it was sport to them to stalk and harass and threaten and try to hurt me and my people. But everybody, it was like the apartments I stayed at was one big anti-white tribunal, and I moved into my car. Throughout which experience, I also constantly heard the voice of anti-whiteism. Half the time, at least, it was real. The others were like voices you would expect someone with schizophrenia to hear. I did develop PTSD in this very anti-white town I had lived in, Went back to it as seldom as I could while living in my car. And, I finally moved to an environment where, there's more white people. People aren't, as emboldened as the anti-white blacks were to wage attacks and really be just on the edge of carrying it out if you're not, really ready to hurt them. Of course, I have been really ready to hurt people, but, I'm just doing what I can with the voices thing. They're very real out here, too. I know people are just pissed off as can be that I'm representing white people for real instead of just LARPing as them. By LARPing as them, I don't mean using swastikas. I mean do not be fooled by the way these people are dressed, the color of their skin, or their... I'm so fucking sick of anti-white whites, man. Fucking, I read the book Go Free. I'm kind of almost finished with Born Guilty. There's still some thickness left to the book. But, I couldn't even sit there and read it in my place, because in spite of not being virtually homeless, or I was housed by a car, but not having to sleep in public, and it always be a fucking issue, by the way. These people, man, just choosing not to be a fuck up, I guess. I quit drinking. I sharpened up my look. I'll still have a drink on an occasion, but I'm no longer willing to do it daily or being it that bad. So, when I moved, I didn't realize how much I still looked like I was LARPing, I guess. The haircut, I've, I'm just, I quit wearing my leather vest. I'd made it cutting the sleeves off a leather jacket, and it didn't paint anything. That was fucking one of my favorite things to wear. And I loved the Warhawk, but I've made it slimmer. I used to wear like a bunch of torn clothes and fucking. I ain't feeling that shit now. And I looked at a video I had shot like while I was living in my car, and I feel sorry for my cat in the video. I lost my cat, you know, and cat and he didn't want to live in a fucking car that has to be moved how I move it. Fucking, gosh, it was hard, but I was so down. I think I was so high in this video I shot for the sake of, you know, not being, you know, unfairly persecuted, but also, like, I think I had a bottle in my back seat or something. I may have been a little drunk at the, I don't know. I just, you know, I felt that might have been the least my worries even. I was just like looking at myself in that video, and I'm like, what are you doing, you know? Because, yeah, I still had the more Nazi-like hair, and I could tell I was some kind of fucked up. I could tell, like, and I still get fucked up. I still get high. It helps me deal, you know? Perhaps it's especially useful to those of us with the kind of PTSD I developed. But really, I was at war behind enemy lines, and these fucking, I get out here and these whites I guarantee it's like everywhere I move, each place has threatened to become worse than the last. And, you know, don't think for a second it's going to get better when you get around white people. They're anti-white as hell. They want to attack me. They're digging for excuses and coming up empty-handed because they just have to use frothing at the mouth anti-whiteism. Like, even now, I just heard the voice of it, right? But, you know, you can feel in people's energies, you know, it's just a place of bad vibes. It's real tweakery, you know. Now, they feel more obligated to act like they have pride out here. They feel more obligated to keep the peace than the last town I lived in which I'd lived since 2019. You know, and God, it was hell. Each place threatened to be worse than the last. And, yeah, each of your enemies, you know, when you get to white, like, they're still fucking disgusting, you know. They may not, you know, be right outside your window. I'm not living in an apartment anymore either, you know. Actually have my own front and backyard, but, yeah, they're not committing the same trespasses, but they have the same hatred, and they know they want to do something with it too. They just don't know what. You know, part of this is the idea that they could be held accountable to the law. You know, but it also helps that I am not, you know, participating in the trappings of racism. You know, because, I mean, some of your haters may be racist, and they're mad that you see there's a better way. If you're going free, you know, and keeping it Promethean, which is what I intend to do, you know, I mean, this is the only fucking way, man. We're combating them with language. They really have to claim the term anti-white. They have to start saying the quiet parts out loud, and then they're the fuck-ups, you know, fucking. But I will hold these people accountable, man. If somebody causes me problems, I'll get them arrested and beat their ass or both, you know, like, I'm fucking tired of it, you know, like, I have to play it smart. Before it was just be scary or else. Be tough or else. That was the choices I had, to stand up and be white. These same people who are hating on me now, you know, just some bitch-ass neighbors, but, I mean, they do it from their yards or inside of their houses, so, you know, I don't have a face for these voices. I just, no, they're fucking hating, but had they been back there, they would have been fucking breakdancing and wearing sweatpants or whatever the fuck they had to do to be on the winning, or it's a loser's game, really, to take white people for granted, to take it as just nothing in the world. But they would have sacrificed you to any bloodthirsty anti-white out there. These are not our people. A lot of the white people you look around and see, these are not our brothers and sisters. And that's just the cold hard truth, I'd like to look at the camera and shit, but there's I gotta focus on the road too. And they fucking hate you all the same, So that takes the wind right out of the sails of racism, because it's the same problem across the board. It's the same sickness. And it's very sick, these mental tapeworms, man. They, just, how dare I genuinely stand up for white people? How dare I be a real hero? Because had they been me in my shoes, living in the last town, they would have bowed down. They would have said, I will stab anybody I have to in the back for you, just like the other whites did. Just like the whites back there. They're no different than any anti-white. The anti-whiteism is the same everywhere, man. It's a fucking infestation, Like, the more you get into this stuff, the more you see every place crawling with them. These fucking leeches. I don't have to live like that. I don't have to fucking support drugs and fucking degeneracy, and they do, and that's why they're fucking mad at you. They hate your beauty, they hate your righteousness, they hate your valor, and they will play the victims, just as the virus do in these Prometheus Rising samples I read, but they don't have the leverage that I was, keeping up the fashing out, as I would put it, like, I had already openly LARPed as a Nazi when I lived in the last town, so, like, that was you just opened Pandora's box doing that, man. But if you want to hear voices when you move out of town, go for it. Like, that's where, because these people will stab you in the fucking back, man. You think whites get any different when you get into, the Nazi cult? It's all a bunch of cults, man. I don't care what memorabilia these people possess, or what their political affiliations are, if they identify as a Nazi or not. These fucking folks and lads that just may be happy as hell to dress like they're white. They hate you for genuinely being white. Just fucking disgusting. They spew anti-white out their mouths, and I'm trying. I can't go for professionalism right now. This is a terrible environment, but it's real tweakery, man. If there's one thing we know about druggies, is that they make excuses and place blame. I'm not having it, man. You need to fucking whip these tweakers into shape, man. Degenerates will be degenerates, man. I ain't done shit to anybody. Most of my screaming I've done inside, because I have to, man. I mean, you can't let them disembolden you. I won't just pretend they're not planning to hurt me and my people, and I damn sure don't pretend I'm scared. I'm not, I know what I'm doing, and they ain't got anything on me, I haven't been, glaring at black people and using slurs a lot, like, the behavior patterns that maybe would still get me into trouble that I used to have. I've, sharpened up, and they can't take that away from me, and it hurts them. It shows them that there is a man more concerned with white well-being than he is with some simple release. It's harder to control yourself, man, and they want to act like you're the coward because you want to do it right. No, man, hold them accountable, man. Be ready to call the police. Be ready to fight. Whatever you have to do. These people are sorry, man. Like, these pathetic, bottom-feeding, mental tapeworms, there is no amount of cruelty that could be inflicted upon them that I would object to. Because that's the way they feel about us. They just never stand for anything, They just turn their people over. All they know how to do is sacrifice foot in you or somebody. All they know how to do is lie and cheat and do all kinds of shady shit and fucking, criminal destructive activity. And this is what you're up against, It's nice to have the space. I'm glad that every day it's reasonably likely that I can be left alone and have a choice whether or not to be in a fight. They threaten to take that away from me. If it gets really bad, of course, I'll have moves up my sleeve. I will be able to withstand the persecution, even if it increases, because now it's just taunting and threats. We don't know what it's going to be later. I just know the pattern of living new places. Each wants to be worse than the last. And you refine yourself all you want. You try to do the right thing all you want. I know when to strike is when you have no choice but to fight. But, well, we'll see if I'm left with a choice. See if I guess I'll tell y'all if I have to get somebody arrested. I want y'all to know I'm okay. That's partly why I started shooting this video, because, yeah, man, I don't want to be doxxed, There's a lot of anti-whiteism home, it's not real homely. It's, just not the spirit I remember, They don't stand in solidarity with us because they're white or because they live in what we call the country. I remember a whole different country, man. Used to, a guy would say something to your face. You weren't assured of the use of weapons or multiple people. And I'm assured they'll use any cowardly means. There is no fair fight anymore, so, there's nothing to be gained when they run their mouths by interrupting them, per se. I let these people act out, and then the whole neighborhood knows anti-whites live at this location or something, Like, they're not drumming up the influence that anti-whites had in the last town. If you was anti-white in that last town, you had your foot in the doorway to almost everybody's minds and actions, you know. But I mean, that's how it is, you know. Losers like to take up causes that give them an excuse to blame and hurt. Mostly to hurt, you know. They don't really care about a moral standpoint. The moral of what they're saying just is, I'm going to do it and you can't stop me. And then I'm like, let's see you try it, see what happens, and nobody tries it. But there's been no direct engagement with anyone. That was one guy, he might have screamed at me from the other road trying to get a reaction. In fact, he was most certainly screaming at me. I mean, who else? I was reacting to voices when I moved here, you know, because I won't have it. I'm not going to take people's anti-white garbage. It looks like I'm about to run out of time on this thing, but, you know, I might as well expose them and alert everyone. Like, hometowns, man. It's already all over hometowns, you know, just a heads up. But God, a man can't just get by on merit. Not anymore, man. It's going to take your bravery, too. I'm not going to let them have my future. You know, I'm not going to be lured into, you know, the unknown for their bloodthirsty tricks. I just let them be assholes so everybody knows they're assholes. But if they were putting an actual other white in danger, then, you know, they'd have to fucking deal with me. Or that's where I'm at, man. You're not going to hurt me or my people, man. I'm going to fuck you up, man. And it's going to be real devastating and worse than I can afford to depict. But it'll be my pleasure to demonstrate. And they know it'll be my pleasure. So that's how to keep them at bay. Just be ready to do whatever necessary, because I sure am. I'm fired up. But, yeah, dude, I'm trying to kind of live like I do live at an ideal place. You know, I have to maneuver through this. I have to utilize what people in the right do, man. You know, like, we know where we stand. Now, there's not going to be any getting around so many defenses as I have learned and applied, you know. But we'll see how this goes. I'm trying to keep an open mind about how it's going to be. I just, you know, I prepare for the worst. And maybe that's what I should tell y'all to do. But yeah, when you're standing up for our well-being properly, it's based on love instead of, oh, that's just how those people are. Well, that's what gets used to demonize us. That in some way is just how we are, and it's not true. And, you know, don't expect love from white people. Expect love from your fellow Prometheans, but you operate on that, and they will go digging through your history. And their fucking wails and whines, cries for fucking, like, some fictionally based vengeance will fall on deaf ears. And that's about how I was ready to wrap this up. You know, I'm going to be the living example of a warrior Westman with confidence. They're not going to get me down, man. Keep it Promethean. Promethean hails. Good day. Oh, I do still have time. Cool. God, I thought when I went past 24, yeah, it would stop recording. Anyway, yeah, Promethean hails, much love to my brothers and sisters out there, fighting for white well-being as it should be fought for. White well-being is a biospirit. It's tapping into the heroic and intelligent nature of our ancestors, you know. But we have to utilize the battlefield we're on, you know. It's not fought like a traditional war. Ain't shit traditional about it, man. Just a bunch of pussies bitching and moaning in the distance. You know, or that's what I've leveled it down to. I always level people down, you know. I come out the victor in every one of these situations I'm talking about. The getting riled up of anti-whites. These anti-whites are not like us. They're not operating on a care for their own, or they'd get out your way, right out of it, you know. So know that they're in the enemy uniform from within. Like, whatever anti-whiteism would look like if it were like some entity or something, like that's them inside. They draw from something that is that, you know, and try to command it upon you. And, you know, these are, they become hollow prayers. They're complaints and, you know, these threats that they would very much like to carry out, but there's still accountability for them. There's still the prospect of consequences. So it's good for me to clear my mind. This is what needs done. If I'm gonna have to face it, do I expect others not to have to face it? I expect y'all to get it worse. You know, I have this very baneful nature about me, you know. I really tapped into myself in ways that I know I can really be a nightmare. I've faced a lot of people who wanted to prove to me that they're bad, and I've placed a lot of curses, very effective ones. You know, I know my nature, and it's the opposite of turning the other cheek. Like, that's just how I am. So while I'm fighting for you and expecting y'all to have to fight too, you know, I'm not gonna leave out the positives. I clean more. I, you know, take more care of my appearance, and you know, I'm handling variables reasonably well. Watching what I do in my time. Even my diet has improved. Now, sticking to exercise consistency, we're just leveling up, man. And this is what we all want to do, you know? Hang in there, because however rough it gets, we're out there, man. Fucking, we do stand for something. We have something other than hatred. We have something other than jealousy and envy, you know, like, We're not sorry for it, and we're not giving it up. Yeah. We fight. And Jason really does have the right way. You know, I find appreciating my own race so much, I can appreciate other races appreciating theirs. When something is done to, to uphold preservation of their people, to take them further, intellectually and spiritually, and upholds what we know to be good moral standards. That is beautiful. Like when they're doing that for their own, when they do something against us, is when the problems start for them, because we fight. That's our nature. If you're in this cause, which I suspect you might be if you're watching, maybe there's some guys still lost in doing things the way I also had gotten on the track of doing, got right off nearly at the beginning. I wasn't in it long. I wasn't LARPing as a Nazi relatively long to like other causes I've taken up, but this is the one, man. This is the one to commit to, there will be no surrender on my part, but also I'm not going to backslide any, that there's going to be so many attempts to convince you that what you're doing is wrong, and you be angry about that. You're right. I can really just read everybody's energy. I know their insecurities just as soon as they open their mouths or something. And they're trying to make their weaknesses yours, but they want you to believe that you're wasting your time or that you're just another hardhead within our cause. That's what they need to think. That's what they need to believe. And they're like trying to pray it into you, like they're groveling, man. And they're pissing me off. I'm not going to let them hurt y'all. Any of you. And, I'm taking care of me, too. You got to love yourself. I'll be taking shit from these people. They need checked and stopped in their tracks and, told what's what by real men like ourselves. But if they actually get to the point where you have to hurt them, the blame will still be placed on you according to themselves. And, I think if you stay within the law, try not to engage with fucking psychos. This may go better yet than my last day at a place. I'm getting more and more the impression I do not want to live out here as a long-term plan, like, years down the road. But it wasn't ruined by my people. But it's your fault that other people are degenerates. You're respectable, noble ask. I mean, really, I haven't found a better community. I haven't been welcomed with more open of arms. You know, and it'll build you up, man. No white guilt is the most revolutionary thing. It's proven by constant resistance and my refusal to be disheartened. Well, may have to wrap this up in a second. Nah. Anyway, yeah, man, keeping it Promethean. Oh, salute to you all, and good night. Unless I shoot a nerve hit. Nah, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave y'all. Not really. I am the most sanest among the community. My most sane. And what I see in this community is just waiting to flourish in the hearts of others. It certainly did in mine. So, hang in there. There's decent people, they know excuses when they hear them. Obviously, because it's just not getting drummed up. All the anti-white tribunals are not coming out of the woodwork like they did yet. But having already been through that shit, I'm perfectly equipped to fight. And, I am not going for the Nazi look, so, they can't point to that and say, see, look how evil he is. But they just have to, make shit up and, just, run their mouths to the air. They don't seem to have shoulders to cry on like the anti-white, they don't have this constant threat of violence to inflict, or, and it's almost puzzling. They don't just, I don't know if, the police do more about violence out here or what, because they won't do jack. I would be happy to tell y'all where I had lived before I moved into my car, but, that's, it's a little early for that. I have to maneuver my words here, but, the more I could actually just talk to somebody, the more effective my words will be. People are just frothing at the mouth anti-white. You can't do anything with that. Just be ready to stand and fight for your Promethean principles. Or that's my advice. That's just what I know how to do, Never turn the other cheek. Blessed are the strong. So, that's where I stand. But, yeah. I should be fine if I just work within the law. Maybe don't stay too long. We'll see how staying a while goes. I'm still a little new out here, less new, but I've made my case clear. I have no intention of backing down from my post. Uh, there has to be a vigilant. I combat mean pathogens all day, and yeah, some of this is like most certainly voices I'm just hearing because my subconscious is mind. That's just what happens. People talk anti-Whiteism all day long, because that really was going on in the last town I was living in before I moved into my car. I would advise all against living there, and mostly here. Whatever place I'm in, it's just a bunch of losers and tweakers. Everybody's inside. They've got something to hide. I clearly don't live like that, so I get a lot of hate. Never feeling beaten by it, only that I am winning, because they're proving that there is anti-Whiteism in the world, and they're showing the world how anti-Whites move. They're proving our claims with their claims and the way they state them, and really make asses of themselves. I can count on that for a while. I'll see how anti-white this town, the community is, see if they can just let a guy live with a purpose. Because gosh, does purpose piss people off? Whoa, don't be worried about pissing people off, man. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe anybody respect. You know who I respect? A hero. Whatever that means to you. And yeah, I'll take every footstep one takes. Now, we will go down in history as the heroes, mate. Times are changing. Superstitions have to go out the window. Certain biases. But I find with the loving of my people, I can appreciate others loving their people. And, this actually puts us on common ground where there would otherwise be none. You think black people all like anti-Whiteism, always getting shot and raped, and then the excuse is the white man? We've got pro-white blacks. They're not going to want communism where woke standards rule over merit. They're not going to all want that. That is not the kind of black people anti-white people are trying to work with in the first place. We already have the stronger among them on our side. If you're standing, because no white guilt is the most revolutionary thing. This is the ultimate blasphemy in the world. And I've been openly satanic in life. Like, I've openly come in the name of the devil. Like, big time. And this white well-being stuff, this is the most blasphemous path I have ever found. I have never had so many lowlifes having so much hatred for me until I stood for no white guilt, white well-being. And, this is the greatest time ever to carry this kind of awareness. I'm telling you, the tools in Jason's literature and the symbolism is all very relevant to our growth. I'm happy to recommend Go Free and Born Guilty. I'm a little eager to get back to Born Guilty. And yeah, it speaks volumes of what to do. I'm eager to learn the rest of it. Ales. And yeah, we'll talk again fairly soon.